Hi guys, Blake here today with Lilley's Landing Resort and Marina on beautiful Lower Taneycomo. It is Sunday, July the 18th, and I'm going to do the one cast for you today. So, today I have boated to the lower end of the lake and switch it up a little bit. Today I'm going to throw, and I want to say that this is the Bass Pro brand, but it is a watermelon red magic sticko worm with a 2/0, I can't remember what you call that hook, and I've got a swivel on there. I don't think it seems to matter, but you could have that just tied straight on. And this is on 6-pound Trilene XL smooth cast. And so I've boated down. I'm not too far away from Rockaway Beach. I want to say I'm somewhere by the gold mine right now. I'm off in one of these sloughs in here. These sloughs are real shallow. I could imagine if they weren't running much water that this would probably not be fishable. At least not out of this boat. But I've got my motor trimmed all the way up. I shut it off way out there and trolled in here. These fish seem to be kind of spooky. But there are some fish in here, and so we're gonna try to catch a bass today here on Taneycomo. So this is all a bunch of grass beds back in here. So far it really hasn't gotten any deeper than about 3 foot. So I've got my trolling motor trimmed up, raised up, pretty high. I think I just had a fish hit my line. So I came down to the lower lake today with the intention of throwing some streamers to try to imitate the weightless worm, or some topwater lures, flies, grasshopper, mouse pattern, but so far it seems like my fly line, no fish on the first cast, seems to be spooking them when I cast it across the water. So I went back to the weightless worm because I can get it quite a bit farther away from the boat than I can the fly line. Let's see, fishing reports for today. Ooh, there he is. Oh, he got off of there. There's so much grass back here, you really have to set that worm very weedless, and I've got it skin hooked here on the side, but it still doesn't hook every fish I try to catch. And so this is a real, using this weightless worm back here, it doesn't have very far to sink, but you've really got to watch that line. Once you see your line start running off, is when you want to yank back and set the hook, and you've got to set it pretty hard to get that hook out of the worm. There he is. All right, and there, look at how healthy that little bass is. The bass here in Taney, so far from what I can tell, and I'm no expert on the bass fishing side of things, but these bass are very healthy. So anyway, back to fishing reports. Captain Jeremy Rasnick had a trip this morning, fly fishing trip. He said that there's another one. Oh, I missed him. He said the bite was real rough this morning until the sun came out, and then he said the fish really turned on. Captain Pete kind of had a similar story. He said they were fishing the pink power worm for an hour and a half and said that the bite wasn't very good, and he said all of a sudden they got down there by the landing somewhere around the fish house area, and he said the bite turned on and they caught a bunch of fish. Oh my gosh, they are nailing that thing. And Captain Billy Ibert said that the pink power worm bite for him just around the corner from our dock and down was great, but that the nightcrawler bite was non-existent for them. There's all kinds of fish action going on back here in this slough. Another thing you can do with these weightless worms, if you've got them rigged weedless as well, is you can throw them on top of those moss piles and reel them kind of slow across the top of the moss. And sometimes those bass will just explode out from underneath. But it does seem, once I get too close to the fish back here, and I've been in several handful of sloughs today, but it does seem like as soon as I get the boat too close, the fish stop biting. So had to go to a method where I could get longer casts away from the boat. And so this method I'm using with the weightless is kind of like jigging. It's a slower approach. You got to wait for that worm to fall down. Once you know it's sitting on the bottom, your line will stop scooting back towards you. And then you just kind of pop it up and let it sink back down again. And in my explorations today, so I've set out to just kind of explore some of the lake that I never fish. I found that some of these sloughs back in here go way back farther than you think they do upon looking at them from out there in the main channel. Pretty impressive. This one, I can't even see the end of it. It's at least a quarter mile long, if not longer. There he is. Oh, this one might be a little bigger. Oh my. Oh yeah. That one's definitely a little bigger. And all these bass back here are super fat, super healthy, and great colors. And I might be preaching to the choir here, but so just a little look at how rigging these works. That's the hook. I believe that's a 2/0. And so I just go about a 1/4 inch down, pop that through, bring it all the way up, twist it around until it sets straight like that, then come down here. And this is what I mean by skin hook. I just hook the very edge of the skin of the worm there. I went into the mouth of Bull Creek for the first time today, and I will tell you that it is very deceiving on how shallow almost the entire mouth of that creek is. It's a super wide opening, but don't cut in there too sharp once you see it, because it is shallow enough to damage something, that's for sure. Just the same with any of these areas back here. If you're going to pull into any of these sloughs off the lake, you definitely need something that can ride shallow, and you definitely need a trolling motor. If you try to run your big motor through all that grass, you're going to burn an impeller out. I imagine it doesn't even have to be a sticko worm, but just some kind of soft plastic, weightless. You really don't need much weight because it's not very deep. I've even got my trolling motor turned all the way down on a super low speed, that way it doesn't make a whole lot of noise. Over the last couple days, though, I've gotten some good reports about the fishing down by the landing from Captain Darren Sadler and Pete and a few others. So I don't know if maybe they just stocked down there again, but it's totally possible. And we had some guests go out today for a few hours, and they drug pink power worms on the bottom on the drift rigs, and they did really well. They came back with their limits, and they also said that they couldn't catch one on the night crawler. So sometimes those trout change up and they just decide to stop eating something, and that may always be a mystery. Seems that the slower you can work this thing, the more bites you get. I really like it when it's falling super slow. Oh. When you're doing this back here, this water is still pretty clear. It's a little stained right now, I think maybe from the rain earlier. I don't know that it matters quite as much what pound test you use. I've always just got 6 for my heavy lines. I don't know if there's a heavier line that would spook them. I doubt it. And that heavier line could definitely come in handy if you got into one of those big bass when they start running down into that grass. It's been a fun few hours exploring the lower lake and some of these arms that I've never been to before, but I've definitely had more goose eggs than anything today. This spot here is definitely the best one I've pulled into. It is starting to get to that time of the day where it is hard to see the line, which so far most of the fish I've caught today I've had to see the line move. Looks like there's a pretty big snake up there on the water. The water temperature back here is like 75 or 78 degrees. I can't remember what the depth finder said. Thinking I was having a little better luck down there at the mouth. I'll take a few more casts up here and then turn around and head back the other way. I have noticed of all the arms that I've pulled into today that the farther back in them I get and the more shallow they become. Oh, that was a fish. There seems to be a little less population. The spots where the grass is 2 or 3 foot under the surface seem to be the better ones so far. I'm starting to get pretty shallow back here. This definitely looks like it would be a good hunting spot for ducks or geese. I can only imagine that they load up in here in the right time frame. gonna start turning. Oh, I was reeling my worm back in and he chased it. There's definitely all kinds of little baby minnows and fry back here, which I don't blame them. This is a perfect spot to get away from the current. But I don't think it's all just, ooh, that feels like a nice one. I don't think it's all just bass. There's all kinds of different looking minnows out there. Oh, this one is giving me the business. Are they getting bigger? I think they are. Oh, another really healthy fish there, and he's been eating all kinds of stuff down in his throat. Once that worm starts to get torn up there at the top, you can just tear off a half an inch or so and stick it hook back through it. Oh no. Got it back. Kinda. What is going on here? Oh my gosh. How did that happen? Okay. Alright. Just a little blooper there. This side over here seems to be my deep side. We're back in that 3 foot before the grass area. And it could be it just gives them a second longer to see that worm floating before it touches the bottom and it's done moving. This is why the deeper areas are working better. Just a guess though. We have been weighed in a few trophy fish in the last couple days, and they have all been from the Short Creek area. And most of them were caught on jigs. I think one of them was a night crawler a few days ago. But there might be a nice little pocket of some bigger fish there by Short Creek. I think we'll give it this cast and one more cast, and we're going to call it a day. I thought I'd get out and do something a little different here on Taneycomo, and let you know there's definitely more action here. Oh, are you serious? Okay, well, we thank you guys for watching today. Like and share us on Facebook, and we'll get out here and do it again for you tomorrow. Thanks, guys.